Hi guys, welcome to Biology with Marynyosk. Today we're going to discuss the human brain. By the end of this episode, you are supposed to understand 20 different parts of the brain with each of their function. Now smash on the like button, subscribe if you've not subscribed, and let's learn. The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. Both of these two are surrounded by meninges. The meninges consist of three parts. The first part is the dura mater. The dura mater plays the role of carrying blood
from brain to heart.
Also surrounds the dural synapses, the cerebral synapses, and the cranial synapses. The arachnoid. The arachnoid protects and surrounds the brain and the spinal cord. The pia mater. The pia mater cushions the brain and the spinal cord. The human brain is made up of more than 100 billion of neurons. These neurons exist even during birth and after the neuron increases its number as the brain develops. The neurons are arranged into areas that are composed of gray matter and white matter. The gray matter consists of areas rich in neurons, synapses, and dendrites. The white matter composes of areas that are rich in cell bodies, which are few and more axons. The largest part of the brain is the cerebrum. The cerebrum is composed of two hemispheres, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Both of the two hemispheres are connected together using corpus callosum, and they are separated together using longitudinal fissure. Now the hemispheres are separated from the cerebellum using the transverse fissure. As the cerebrum grows, it grows into folds known as gyri. The gyri are separated from each other using a sulci, and a sulci acts as a landmark that divides the cerebral cortex into lobes. There are four different parts of lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. Now, let's start with the frontal lobe. This is the part that is located at your forehead. It's the largest part and it plays a lot of roles such as, first let's look at these pictures and tell me what you see. There is a rat and there is a rabbit. Whatever your brain has done, your brain has integrated and compared the objects, and that is why you have been able to integrate the two types of animals. Again, whenever you have mood swings, this is the role of the frontal lobe. When you walk, there is voluntary movements that are controlled by the frontal lobe. Also, the ability of you to recall something is brought about by the frontal lobe due to the thoughts that bring about memory. The parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is located next to the frontal lobe and at the side where the cerebellum is. Its role is to help in sensory, that is sense. Now, whenever you are poked, whenever you touched, that feeling is brought about by the parietal lobe. Whenever you are exposed under temperature that is high or low, pressure that is high or low, this is the role of the parietal lobe. Now let's go to the third part, which is the occipital lobe. The occipital is used in vision or sight. The temporal lobe is the one that is next to the brainstem and is connected to the frontal lobe. Its role is that it helps in communication and in hearing. The basal ganglia. It plays the role of receiving information from the cerebral cortex and the brainstem and process the information. Brainstem. The brainstem is made up of four different parts: the diencephalon, the midbrain, the pons, and lastly, the medulla oblongata. The diencephalon. The diencephalon is composed of two major parts. The larger part is the thalamus and smaller part is the hypothalamus. The thalamus. The thalamus is the center in which transmission of signals occur, and the signals are transmitted from the spinal cord all the way to the brainstem and then are taken to the cerebral cortex. The hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is where there is linkage between the nervous system and the endocrine system. Now, the hypothalamus plays the role of stimulating the pituitary gland to secrete hormones that can be used to control things like breastfeeding, hunger, and thirst. The midbrain. It plays the role of controlling movements and habits. The pons plays the role of respiration and circulation. And lastly, the medulla oblongata plays the role of digestion and helps you in swallowing. The cerebellum is the structure that helps in emotional control, such as it helps you to regulate fear, it can help you to regulate pleasure, also it helps in coordination of movements. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the human brain. Make sure you like, subscribe if you've not subscribed, and share also.